Baldur's Gate 3 has been the talk of the town over the past few days. It's been getting very good reviews, it has been hitting pretty great Steam player numbers, but journalists have been milking the game for all it's worth, posting article after article, and of course that means most of them are actively proving how hypocritical they are, and I felt this was a really good time to call them out over it. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So this all started because they decided to post this article titled Baldur's Gate 3 isn't ashamed of nudity, it actively celebrates it. And I'm constantly talking about nudity in video games and just sexual content in general, because unfortunately we see it censored very often. It is just something that happens. It's something that I do try my very best to cover. And another part of that are journalists who shame games that end up putting sex, nudity, anything like that. And now, instead of shaming Larian in Baldur's Gate 3, they are praising it, which just shows their sheer hypocrisy. So, this of course is The Gamer by Jade King. When I meet a new party member in Baldur's Gate 3, I strip them naked. I know it sounds weird, and it kind of is, but I swear it isn't part of some perverse hazing ritual. The reason I do it is that Larian Studios has taken an approach to nudity that isn't juvenile despite its rampant explicitness. Seconds before starting a new game, you're asked if you want to enable or disable nudity. Unlike Dragon Age or Mass Effect, nudity isn't merely present in tasteful sex scenes, defined by the occasional butt cheek and smattering of side boob. They simply say that it is gleefully nude. So they are saying that this game does nudity correct. And why do they say it does nudity correct? Well, because nudity doesn't just happen in tasteful sex scenes. It is comedic, it is humorous, it happens at the most bizarre times. And this is rich, coming from someone who has written several articles attacking gamers for liking nudity, for liking attractive female characters. This is one of their more notable articles published in 2022. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 needs to avoid being weirdly horny anime nonsense. Oh, so it's okay when one developer you like does nudity and does sex jokes all the time and puts lots of sex scenes in their game, but if it happens in an anime game, oh no, you're just supporting weirdly horny anime nonsense. Then they attack gamers. It says it still trades in beloved platformers and masterful adventure games, but alongside them you'll find JRPGs like Xenoblade Chronicles that lean into the very best and worst of what it means to be a horny gamer. Lecherous basement dwellers will still cry censorship at the removal of vagina bones or panty shots in games like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but compared to a couple of decades ago, the sexualization found across certain Nintendo titles is more prevalent than it's ever been. Okay, so they're saying that we cannot, want censorship of things like vagina bones or panty shots, but you can like straight up sex scenes in Baldur's Gate 3. Why don't we go to another example? This was from 2023 by Jade King as well. Resident Evil 4 no longer sexualizing its women is a good thing. So it's okay that Baldur's Gate 3 has full-on sex scenes, but it's not okay that Resident Evil 4 doesn't have panty shots anymore. I just truly do not understand the sheer hypocrisy here, because you guys know my stance. I am for everything being in games. I'm not sitting here saying that we should be censoring games, that panty shots should be censored. I'm not even saying that Baldur's Gate 3 should be censored, even though there have been a lot of clips going viral that are very cringe, and I hate that word, but they are very cringe. I'm not sitting here saying this is awful, degenerate content, and you guys are awful for supporting it. I would never say that, because I am all for options for players, and I think that it's great that these these journalists, that there's individuals who are enjoying this content, even if I'm not one of those people. But at the same time, if this was us, if we were sitting here saying, it's got, so much sex in it, this is amazing, we would be called pervs and degenerates and disgusting individuals. And while these two specific articles were by Jade King, of course, the gamer has put up several attacks on video games in general over the past few years. One was Skullgirls. They said that people are overreacting to the fact that they toned down PantyShots. And then you get into things like Rockstar needs to grow up about sex. No, Rockstar doesn't need to be censored, but if they continue to focus on moving stories like that of DR2, it makes less sense to make sex a joke. And then we have Saints Row the Third's depiction of sex work is dated and ugly, and I did actually make a tweet about this, but they're saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is stunning and brave for featuring full sex scenes and nudity because it's comedic, right? Because it's got that hilarious edge, but the same exact site has claimed that sex was treated like too much of a joke in GTA 5, and Saints Row 3's depiction of sex work was dated and ugly because it was treated as a joke. These people are clowns, they are hypocrites, they cannot keep their stances straight. And I understand, right, with some of those, they were not specifically Jade King, and you could say, oh, it's not the same writer, but it's the same site, and these people do ultimately represent the site that they work for, and all of these articles are up. I specifically made sure to not use an archive for any of these, even though I usually do because I don't want to give them my clicks, but none of these are archives. These are actively up, meaning they still stand by these stances. I am just so sick of the hypocrisy because, again, if this was us, if we were celebrating a game because it's got full sex and nudity, we would be called degenerates over it. I had posted this tweet, but it says journalists will praise this content but call us degenerates for enjoying anime or attractive fictional characters, and it is a scene where you have a bugbear and ogre in a barn having sex. Two creatures that aren't real, just like anime characters who they complain about that, spoiler alert, aren't real either. I mean, this is true nightmare fuel, and of course journalists and streamers are praising it, yet gamers are roasting them. This displaces Gorlock. This is an absolutely hilarious meme. It's because they want more realistic depictions of their people like this. Thank you for this. I shall now proceed to bleach my eyes until I can no longer see color. I don't know, we can't have attractive females in video games, but we can have, like, the most degenerate content possible. We can have characters that look like this, but oh no, if we have an attractive female, that's just terrible. That's unrealistic. Do I think that these journalists would ever listen to our feedback and care? Absolutely not. They are only out there to post hate bait articles and ultimately, yes, try to get your hate clicks. We have seen it time and time again. They don't actually care about the things that they're spewing. They don't actually care about the gaming industry either. These people want to be political activists, but they simply came into the gaming space because they thought it would be a very easy way to start their careers, and well, they're still around, and I would love to see them all go. But these are some of the new angles that are being pushed, that Baldur's Gate 3 isn't ashamed of nudity. It actively celebrates it because it's comedic, but yet other games have been shunned and attacked for having comedic nudity and sex in their games as well. It makes absolutely no sense, completely hypocritical of these journalists. I'm sure we're going to see more articles like this releasing in the near future about this game, but for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.